Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming by and playing. We super appreciate you being here.
My pleasure. I have good reason to leave the house. It's very nice.
You know, and speaking of leaving the house, Pete, you know, typically you'd be doing some sort of tour dates, you know, in the area. You'd be playing somewhere in Portland this evening. This is like your only stop is like right here in this room.
Just came right here to be with you.
He came right here to be with us. Which is great. It's such a treat for us. So thank you again for doing that. The last time you and I chatted was December of 2010. We were in our early 20s. And you had just gotten married like a couple weeks before. You had gotten back from France.
That's true.
I'm sure I was disturbing your honeymoon, but you were kind enough to drop by and play some songs. But during our conversation some years ago, you told me something interesting, and that was you said you could write pretty much anywhere. It didn't depend on, you know, a certain setting or a mood or whatever. If something struck you at the time, you would take some mental notes, you'd write things down, you'd go into a studio, you'd do that. Is that still kind of the same process for you, or do you need more solitude? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the only difference I notice in a lot of my voice memos, I sneak off there's a front room in my house, like a little library room, you know, small area where I keep my guitar sitting around, and I'll sneak in there and I'll, you know, now I got an iPhone, I'll do a voice memo on there, and I'm like, got an idea, I'm writing some down, and all of a sudden at the end of it here, Dad! And so that didn't happen then, and I'm like, and I never want to be like, I'm writing a song, like, get out of here, you know, like, I'm kind of like, you know, hey, if the moment, I've learned to like, actually, if my daughter, she's 8 now, but if she kind of comes like yelling for me or interrupts like the magic moment where I'm pulling magic from the ether, you know, like my knee jerk was always to be like, you know, and then I'm like, let me use that. There's something there. And I'm like, what do you got? What are you saying? What's up? What's going on? And there was a few times where she'll say like something mundane that she needed, or I want you to come to my room, and I use it and I throw it into the song, and it actually ends up being a cool thing. And it's so much better that way. It's like give her some weird memory of her dad being all like jacked up about that. Like I don't want to be that guy, you know. And so yeah, but I could write anywhere. It's true. Like a lot of people, like if I was going like on a trip to Hawaii or something, people be like, "Oh, you're gonna go sit on the beach and write songs?" And I'm like, "Nah, I usually don't do that. Like I usually don't write in like the beautiful place or like the scene where you might think a person might write. I kind of like write like, you know, like randomly jump out of bed in the middle of the night and put something down in the bathroom, or you know, stuff like that. Just like random mundane moments. So yeah.
That's inspiration strikes at crazy times, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Hawaii. That's your last full-length album came out a couple of years ago. Yeah. And in that time...
Was it a couple of years already?
It was 2022. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Right? So in that time, obviously you've got this new song as well, Someday.
Yeah.
And in the interim, you were in a movie recently as well, which I'd love to talk about just a bit, because I'm sure you haven't heard enough about that just yet. But Killers of the Flower Moon, you guys seen it? Killers of the Flower Moon? Checked it out just recently, and without giving out any spoilers, this for me, it was great seeing you in this movie, and the interesting thing also is that there's other musicians in there as well. There's Jason Isbell, there's Sturgill Simpson, there's some guy named Jack White who's in the movie. So I'm wondering, like anytime I see a movie like that and I see multiple musicians, I'm thinking these guys must have gotten together and talked about music or collaborated in some way or something. Did anything like that go on behind the scenes?
You would think that, and a lot of people ask that, but I don't think any of us are in a scene together. So in the way a movie gets made, like we never worked together. We never saw each other. It's the different days.
Right.
So Jack was after the fact.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in a scene with. I was hiding out, and my character is very hard to find as it is, but I didn't really interact with many people at all. I was kind of this lone guy.
Other than Robert De Niro, of course, who you had a great
dialogue
with.
I did
talk to him a little bit. Yeah, I mean, being directed by Martin Scorsese. I mean,
yeah, all that happened.
For the first foray into movies. I mean, this is setting the bar pretty high. I mean,
yeah, I said don't call me unless it's that sort of thing.
But I mean, Pete, I'm kind of surprised that this didn't happen a little bit sooner for you, just given the fact that you have brothers who are involved in the industry.
Yeah.
You've been longtime friends with Scarlett Johansson. You're an easy on the eyes kind of guy. I mean, what was it that sort of cemented this for you with this movie role?
Yeah, you think they would have shoehorned me in something years ago, but no, I think I had known Marty through my brother for years, and I get the story. I got it. The casting happened during the full-on like quarantine pandemic time, that when everyone was separated, not allowed to leave your house, that sort of thing, and they're doing meetings over Zoom. And I guess I heard someone had the ideas, or a bunch of them had the idea they wanted to cast a bunch of musicians as some of the outlaws in the movie. That's why there's a bunch of musicians in it, and my name got thrown in the hat, and I got the opportunity to audition over Zoom like 3 times, and yeah, that's I heard someone say Marty liked my weird face for the guy for this character. He's a weird kind of cat, and I don't know what's going on in that character's mind, but he did some bad things, and they wanted me to do that, so I did it.
That's some good resume building material right there. It's got a weird face.
Yeah.
Directed by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
The end. We were going to invite Peter Buck from REM to come down today and see you because he's in the area. But as it turns out, he's not in the area, unfortunately. He's in Norway, of all places. Not sure what he's doing there, but you've worked with Peter Buck several different times in the past. Tell me what that was like. What was it like working with him?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I'm a huge REM fan, from as a kid and still. And yeah, Peter played some stuff on my second record, and we met when I toured. I opened for REM on tour many years ago, and we had a great time. And all those guys were really cool. And yeah, he's been a friend. I haven't spoken in a while. I was saying we've been in touch. I think was his birthday last year. I gave him the happy birthday text. If I pull up my phone, it's probably the last time we talked. I was like, happy birthday, Pete. That sort of thing.
Did he leave you on red, or did he respond?
No, he did respond. I think he was appreciative that I hit him up. Yeah.
That's good. You've worked with any number of people over the years. Is there anyone who you're hoping to work with in the future as far as some collaborations are concerned, or anyone you're thinking about reaching out to?
Gosh. You never know when like the magic's gonna happen. So I have an open mind about it. People have asked me that question over the years, and some of my heroes I don't even really want to meet. Because I'm kind of like, let it just be a thing. I don't want to know everybody. And I'm just weird like that. But and I don't mix. It sounds like I mix with like famous people, but I don't really mix with famous people. I'm pretty stick with my home family and keep it simple. But I have over the years crossed paths on a night or two of some people of interesting. I'd be like, wow, that was crazy. What was that? But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna play a festival in Kansas City, Missouri. No, in St. Louis, Missouri. Excuse me. In like September, and I saw Nile Rodgers and Todd Rundgren are on it, and I would like to meet them, and see their sets.
Well, Nile Rodgers, I mean, he's a legend. That'd be cool to meet him for sure.
Yeah.
You're also playing Bottle Rock Festival down in California for the second time now, down in Napa. They invited you back. That's cool.
Well, I was supposed to play it last year, and then I had a medical emergency happen. I had to get a surgery, and I could not play the show. It was the first show I ever canceled in all my years of performing, and I was really torn up about it, but I was literally torn up on my body.
Wow. Okay.
So I thought maybe it was about 2 weeks before. I thought maybe could I do it, and there was just no way that it wasn't going to happen. So they were like, well, Petey, we're going to have you back next year. Don't worry about it. And that's what they understood.
That's a great festival. I'm glad you're part of that. That's
I heard it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we are glad to have you here playing today for us at the PNC Live Studio here at KINK. I'll let you get back to it. But once again, Pete Yorn, everybody.